Welcome to another edition of Carlotta's Corner right here on Station Head. We have a wonderful show for you today. I always do what's called the Listening Lounge twice a month to give you some ear magic from artists that you know and you don't know. We have none other than the talented, the gifted, the people's champ, and the most favorite Londynn B is here. And maybe she can drop some gems on how we can get to the next level. Guys, give it up for Londynn. She's here with us on Station Head.
Hey.
Welcome to Station Head. We are so thrilled to have you. I'm so thrilled to have you. How are you been doing on this Tuesday?
I'm doing great. My day really just ended. I'm super excited to end it off with you guys. So I'm really excited to be here.
How did you like your music playing on the Station Head half? Did it sound good?
Oh, it sounded amazing. I rocked to it the whole time.
Okay.
I was listening to it with them. It sounded great.
No, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. So listen, because I know you're busy. I know you're in the studio making up all kind of nice little magic and things like that. So I won't hold you too much, but I do want to take this opportunity to kind of have have some conversations about you. And for those who may be living under a rock and don't know about you, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, I go by the name Londynn B, and I'm an artist. And recently I premiered on Rhythm Flow. And Rhythm Flow is on Netflix. For those who do not know, it's a really great show for up-and-coming artists and artist development. And it was a very, very, very great show to be on. So I encourage anybody who's in the music industry, inspiring artists, to definitely go check the show out. It's amazing with T.I. Cardi and Chance. For those who do not know, that's where I made my major debut at.
Nice. So how long have you been in the game? Meaning, how long you been rapping, writing your own lyrics? Just give us, where did it all begin?
It began just really in, I always wrote music from 10 up. I always wrote music. I was into poems. I was into plays and things like that. So it always was a theatrical type of thing that I always liked to do. So it went from doing poems and plays and being on stage to kind of losing it in my early teenage years, between being 13 and 16. That was that area where I was still trying to figure out if, music was for me. So it all really just came to play with just watching my mom sing, my grandmother sings, my uncle dances. So everything around me was just creative. It was always music. So growing up, starting from my household, it was amazing because everybody around me did something.
And when did you start writing? Because I assume you write all your raps and your lyrics because we seen you get down on the mic.
Absolutely. There's no other way to go. Absolutely. I started writing officially about 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So 3 years ago is where I started writing officially and just trying to take my craft a little bit more serious. I am still new, guys. But we definitely started 3 years ago where we started to take my craft a lot more serious. So I started writing more often about 3 years ago.
So you were in the development stages of figuring out what type of artist or the lane that you was looking to do. What kind of things were you doing, especially, and give some tips for those who may be in the chat or listening that are aspiring artists. What kind of things did you do to kind of get your music heard and seen before we get to the big Netflix stage?
Everything. You do everything to get your music heard and seen, from printing out posters to making sure that people see them, to paying for ads on different promotion sites so people can actually see the item you're selling, to going broke off of studio equipment, to showcases and talent shows almost every weekend, every night, to, not really having the equipment to afford your own studio and recording music and things like that. I mean, you basically go through a whole development from not having the resources, the money, the time.
Because there's some artists that don't believe in what you're saying right now. They think it's supposed to happen right now.
And that's always the misdevelopment of what we feel we deserve. So I just feel like when you feel like your music is amazing, you want what you feel like your music is. But to be honest and completely honest, it's a business like everything else. So we aren't preparing as independent artists to be able to be financially stable for ourselves, being that we are trying to go through the trials of not having to trying to create some, we have to be realistic. We got to be realistic about it. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to come when you want it. It's really going to come when you least expect it. And you got to be willing to take every dare. You got to be willing to take every chance, every meeting, every opportunity. You got to be willing to perform everywhere before they put you anywhere. So it takes a lot of courage and determination. So I would just say keep being inspired. For new up and coming artists, continue to be inspired, because that's what's going to keep you creating.
Definitely. So you're putting in the work, you're putting in the sweat equity, okay?
I like that.
Okay. You putting in all the labor, right? Now you get to this opportunity, right? Let's talk about how this opportunity with you being possibly on the show came about.
And that opportunity came where I was still in that grinding development stage that I just spoke about, of, again, just willing to be everywhere. For a year straight, I performed at every venue I can perform at. For a whole year straight. I didn't ask for no money. I didn't ask for nobody to book me. I just wanted to invest into myself. And I only wanted them to just play my music and allow me to perform, just so other people can ask who I am.
What some people don't know is you came from the big city, right?
I came from Brooklyn. Yep.
Oh, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn,
so you know, it's not easy. Talk about how it is, the challenges of getting your music heard when you're in a metropolis such as Brooklyn, the New York metro area.
My music, I didn't do music. I didn't start music in New York. That's the unique part. That's the unique part about this. I started music in Atlanta. So either way, it's a big city. And I think the tips in the training is still the same, that you have to be willing to promote yourself to the extent like no other. Like, you got to be willing to go out there and do it just because you love it. Because if you don't love it, you're not going to do it. So you can't do it for the money. You can't do it for the fame. You can't do it for the likeness. You can't do it for anything other than it got to be your soul's purpose. That's the only thing that keeps you going in an industry like this. It's a beautiful thing to have. So I didn't make it in Atlanta. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and then I came to Atlanta. I did make it in Atlanta. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and then I came to Atlanta where I started to do music because they had so many showcases. So I felt like I had to be at them because I just wanted people to just see who I was before the money, before anything. But that takes a toll. It does. And then I'm an independent artist. So a lot of times you might get the fame before you even get the money, and you got to be strategic about everything you do. So it's one of those things where we got to be real about it so we can make sure that these up-and-coming artists knows what it really takes.
Yeah, definitely. And that's true. They said that years ago. Sometimes you have to come out of your market or your hometown and go to another market to try to get, to pop off. And for some reason, some people don't do that. It used to be you come to New York to get popped off, but do you feel that because of the evolution of music, that whole feel has changed and shifted? Like, that's not the wave no more because everyone's flocking to Atlanta as you did?
I don't think it's flocking to Atlanta. I don't think it was necessarily where I was from at that time. I think it was more so where I was at. And it was more so my surroundings. And I feel like Atlanta is a music capital just as well as New York. So overall, it really does depend on where you're at the time you start to pursue your dreams. Because it's a lot of people that move and they pursue their dreams in other cities because that's just where they're at. So that's where their resources, that's where they kind of gain control of that crowd. And I think it's even better when you could do it from another state because you can always have two beautiful states to have that connection with. So I definitely think it was because I was in Atlanta that I started to make music here because this was where I was at and I embraced that.
Right. So I was doing my research as a good journalist should. And I saw a post that said that you got pregnant. And I take it that this was during your development process of trying to figure you out as artist, right? When you heard the news that you was going to give birth, how did you feel, and what kind of pivots or moves did you make to ensure that you still kept the mind frame of being a good parent in all of this?
When I first found out I was pregnant at 17, of course it's scary because you're a teenager and you're trying to figure it out. But there's one answer that you don't ever second guess, is the fact you're going to do anything for your children. That's not an answer you ever go back and forth with. That's not a debate that you're going to have no matter what age it is. and I can't speak for everybody, but that wasn't a debate I was going to have for myself nor for my child. I always figure, again, you have kids. Kids are a beautiful thing. Kids are angels. So there was no type of feeling other than being a mom that I can embrace and be excited for, because now I have somebody to live for. It wasn't too much of a struggle to really understand how to be a mom, because I love my daughter from day one, for before her even becoming. And that's just something you don't ever really have to second guess the moment you find out you're pregnant. It's how much you're going to love that child. So it wasn't really more so a struggle of becoming a mom. It was more so trying to adjust to living for somebody else and making executive decisions that not only fall on you, but fall on your children. And it don't always have to come back to you. So just being a little bit more responsible so her life doesn't have to be in shambles as well. So
that doctor handed you papers for abortion or for adoption. I'm like, the audacity of it all. I was a little perturbed. Did you feel a little bit annoyed, or how did you feel when he slipped you the papers like that?
No, I don't think. At that point, you're annoyed because, again, like, you're 17 and you're excited. I think he did what he knew to do, but I just think it became an insult when you don't know who you're doing it to.
Yeah.
So it wasn't personal. It was just more so you just did it to the wrong person that day. And that's just what it is. That's all.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on into this opportunity. Now you're auditioning for Rhythm and Flow. I was about to say Hustle and Flow. I be getting it mixed up sometimes.
Everybody says Hustle and Flow.
I want to get into briefly your experience on Hustle and Flow.
What you talking about, Willis?
And then I want to talk about your music really quickly, because I know that we have to wrap it up. How was your overall experience on Hustle and Flow?
Rhythm and Flow.
Did I say Hustle and Flow again? Sorry.
Yeah, you did. You branded it.
Rhythm.
You rebranded it. But Rhythm and Flow. No worries. Rhythm and Flow was amazing. Again, it was an artist development show. I encourage anybody to go watch it. It's very influential when it comes to Cardi Chance and T.I. and the critiques and the feedback. And it was just a great experience to have as a new artist. And I'm really excited that I was able to be on a platform so big and so great to the culture, such as hip hop. So I'm really excited, and I couldn't have thought of a better opportunity for me to debut. So I'm excited.
I heard you was in the studio. Do you have some music coming out? Are you signed to a label as of now? What can you tell us?
Right now, I'm currently independent, and I don't know what partnerships we're going to fall into, but if we do, we're going to hope they haven't sent. So I'm really excited about that. And I do have my Reset EP. It just came out. That came out about 3 weeks ago. You guys can go check it out. The streams are going crazy. And we have some dope music on the way coming in January. So I'm really excited.
Nice.
But Reset is out right now, guys. Y'all go check it out. And it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be. Are you going to be on any tours that we can expect you on?
Well, if you expect me, you got to come see me. But I don't know. I could be on a few. I could surprise you guys. But I'd rather surprise you guys because I think you guys will love it.
I understand. Well, I'm not going to take any more of your time. I do want to say that I really think you're dope. I really like your whole style. But your freestyle on the Megatron was nice. I love that. Nicki shouted you out like that. But I love the great influence when you was on the show. And then your freestyles are you just killing a lot of these rappers in the game. And I wish you nothing but more success.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
And guys, hit the heart emoji and give it up for Londynn B. Let's get her out of here on the right way. I really appreciate you, Londynn. You have a great weekend, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. You guys are safe.